Here's something nobody prepares you for. You spend years working toward a salary that feels like the answer, the number that means you've made it, the income where money stops being a source of stress and starts being a source of freedom. And then you get there, and the stress doesn't go away. You're making $120,000 a year. That's real money. That's more than most households in this country bring home. You're not struggling. You're not behind on anything. Life looks good from the outside. But here's what's actually happening on the inside. It's the 22nd of the month, you open your banking app the way you've done 100 times before, and the number sitting there is smaller than it should be. Again. And you do that thing where you go through your memory trying to figure out where it went, and you can't fully account for it. Again. And somewhere underneath the confusion is this quiet, uncomfortable thought. If I'm making this much and still feeling this way, what's actually going on? That's exactly what we're getting into today, because the answer isn't what most people expect, and once you understand it, the whole picture changes. Let's go back a few years. When you were making $45,000 or $55,000 a year, money was tight and you knew it. You cooked most meals at home. You drove whatever got you there. You thought twice before spending, not because you were disciplined, because you had to be. Then income started climbing and something completely natural happened. You upgraded. And here's the important part. None of it felt reckless. Every single decision made total sense at the time. You moved into a nicer apartment because you finally could. You got a newer car because the old one kept needing work. You started eating out more because you earned it. You added a gym membership, a few streaming services, updated your wardrobe, got the phone plan that doesn't stress you out. Each upgrade examined on its own was completely reasonable. But here's what was quietly happening underneath all of it. Every time your income went up, your monthly obligations followed right behind it. And they didn't just follow, they locked in. That nicer apartment isn't a one-time purchase. It's a commitment that leaves your account on the first of every month, whether you feel like paying it or not. The car payment doesn't ask how your week was. The subscriptions don't check if you use them. They just go, automatically, every single month. And by the time you hit $120,000 a year, you've collected so many of these automatic commitments that your paycheck is spoken for before you've made a single conscious decision about it. Economists have a name for this. They call it lifestyle inflation. But that name sounds dramatic, like you did something wrong. In real life, it doesn't feel like inflation. It feels like growing up, like finally living the way you always imagined you would when you got here, which is exactly why it's so hard to see. Let's actually look at the numbers, because this is where it gets real. At $120,000 a year, your take-home pay after taxes is roughly $7,000 to $7,500 a month, depending on your state. Sounds like a lot, and it is. Now let's see where it goes. A nice one-bedroom apartment in most mid to large cities, somewhere between $2,000 and $2,600 a month. Let's call it $2,300. Car payment on something reasonable, $500 to $600. Insurance, $200. Student loans, if you have them, $300 to $400. Subscriptions, all of them added together, most people are surprised, usually $150 to $200. Groceries, $350. Eating out and coffee, and be honest here, most people in this income range are spending $500 to $700 a month without realizing it. Utilities and phone, another $200. We haven't even talked about clothes, gifts, travel, healthcare, or anything social yet. And right there before any of that, you're already looking at $4,500 to $5,200 gone every month in commitments you made when things felt affordable. What's left might be $2,000, maybe $2,500 on a good month. From that, you try to save something. You put a few hundred into your 401k, which feels responsible. You tell yourself you'll invest more next month when things settle down. But things don't settle down, they just continue. And here's the part that really stinks. That $2,000 left over doesn't sit there waiting to be saved. It gets absorbed. A friend's birthday dinner, a flight deal that was too good to ignore, the car needing something, a random week where you ordered delivery 4 times because you were exhausted and life happened. And at the end of the month, the number in your account is smaller than it should be again. This isn't a spending problem, it's a structure problem, and the difference matters enormously. So what's actually driving this? There are three things working together so quietly that most people never name them, but once you name them, you start to see them everywhere. The first one is fixed cost creep. This is the slow, invisible accumulation of monthly commitments over time. No single decision breaks you, but every reasonable upgrade adds another line item to your financial obligations. And because each one seemed affordable when you signed up, you never stopped to add up what they cost together. The dangerous thing about fixed costs isn't the amount, it's the automation. They leave your account without asking, without reminding you, without giving you a moment to decide. And most people set up their fixed costs once, when they moved, when they bought the car, when they signed up for something, and then never look at that total number again. The second one is invisible daily spending. This one is sneakier because no single purchase is the problem. $6 for coffee, $14 for lunch because you didn't pack one, $30 for something on Amazon you barely remember ordering, $25 in a round of drinks on a Thursday. None of those feel like financial decisions, they feel like living your life. But add up every purchase you made last month that you didn't consciously plan, and most people in this income range find somewhere between $600 and $900 in spending they genuinely can't fully account for. Not because they were irresponsible, because the modern economy is specifically engineered to make spending frictionless. One tap, one click, delivered tomorrow. No moment of pause, no asking yourself if you actually want this, just done. Friction is what makes you think, and thinking is expensive for the companies that want your money, so they removed it. The third one is social spending pressure. This one is the most uncomfortable to talk about because it doesn't feel like pressure, it just feels like being a normal person with a normal life. When your income goes up, your social circle often shifts. The dinners get nicer, the trips get further, the birthday celebrations get more elaborate. And because everyone at the table is earning decent money, nobody talks about the cost. It's just what you do. Going to a concert, a weekend trip, a group dinner at a place with no prices on the menu, a wedding gift that reflects the relationship. These aren't luxuries to you, they're participation, they're connection. But they're also silently spending $500 to $1,000 a month that never gets categorized as anything, because it doesn't feel like a decision, it feels like your life. And all three of these things together, fixed cost creep, invisible daily spending, and social participation, are quietly consuming every raise you've ever gotten before your savings account even sees it. Here's the part that actually explains everything. When your income goes up, your brain doesn't celebrate and then return to normal. It recalibrates. It resets its entire definition of what normal feels like. The apartment you couldn't have imagined affording 5 years ago feels completely standard now. The car payment that would have seemed insane at $45,000 a year feels modest at $120,000. The restaurant where you used to go on special occasions is now just Tuesday. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The idea is simple. Human beings adapt to new comfort levels extremely fast. What was once a luxury becomes the new baseline. And once something becomes your baseline, going backward feels like deprivation, even if forward was never necessary. This is why a raise feels incredible for about 3 weeks, and then it just feels like your new normal. And then you need the next raise to feel the same lift. And here's what makes it harder. At $120,000, you're probably surrounded by people earning similar amounts. Your reference point isn't where you started, it's the people around you right now. And when everyone in your orbit is spending at a similar level, that level stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like the floor. You're not comparing yourself to where you were, you're comparing yourself to where everyone around you is, and they're all doing the exact same thing. This isn't a personal failure. This is the default setting for being human. The only way out of it is knowing it's happening. Okay, so what do you actually do with all of this? 3 things. Specific, practical, no vague motivational advice. The first one is pay yourself before lifestyle gets to decide. The reason most high earners don't save enough isn't that they don't want to. It's that they try to save what's left after spending, and lifestyle always fills available space. There's always something, there's always a reason the timing isn't perfect. The only thing that actually works is automating your savings and investments on payday before the money lands in your checking account, before it becomes available, before your lifestyle can make a claim on it. Even $800 a month invested consistently at a historical average of around 10% annual return becomes over $160,000 in 10 years. Not because you worked harder, because you moved it before you could spend it. Savings last when they're not a decision. Make it automatic and remove the decision entirely. The second one is audit your fixed costs like a business owner would. Most people look at their spending as individual transactions. Did I overspend on this? Was that purchase necessary? That's the wrong lens. The higher leverage question is, what am I committed to spending every single month? And does that total number make sense given my actual goals? Sit down once, just once, and add up every fixed monthly obligation you have. All of them. Rent, car, insurance, subscriptions, loan payments, everything that leaves your account on autopilot. Write that number down. Then ask, if I were designing my financial life from scratch today, would I build it to cost this much? If the answer is no, something on that list is worth renegotiating. And every $200 you cut from monthly fixed costs is $2,400 a year, and if invested for 10 years is closer to $38,000. One decision every month for years. The third one is make the invisible visible just for 30 days. You don't have to track your spending forever, just do it for 1 month. Write down every purchase the day you make it, not to shame yourself, just to see the actual number. Most people who do this find two things. First, they're spending more than they thought in a few specific categories, usually food, entertainment, or random online purchases. Second, a lot of that spending wasn't actually making them happy. They were spending on autopilot, not on purpose. Once you see the number, you get to decide what to keep and what to cut. Some things are worth exactly what they cost. Others are just friction you removed from your bank account without even enjoying the process. Awareness doesn't require suffering. It just requires one honest look. Here's the real thing nobody tells you about earning good money. The income was never the problem. The income was never going to be the solution either. Because if the structure underneath your income is designed to spend everything you make, and most people's structures are, not because they're reckless, but because every individual decision along the way made sense, then more income just means more to spend. The feeling doesn't change. The anxiety stays. The number in the app keeps being smaller than it should be. But here's what's also true. You don't need to earn more to change this. You need to see clearly what's already happening. Name the fixed cost creep. Notice the invisible spending. Stop letting your social life be a budget category you never consciously approved. And then automate one thing. Audit one thing. Track one thing. Not everything at once. Just start somewhere. Because the gap between feeling broke at $120,000 and feeling genuinely free at $120,000 isn't a bigger salary. It's just awareness applied consistently over time. And now you have the awareness. The rest is up to you. If this made you think about something you hadn't quite named before, drop a comment. I read all of them. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Aris Finance because we're just getting started. See you in the next one.